Alright, guys. So, since we haven't done these videos for a while, I figured I'd do them. I was gonna do this on, I was gonna do this on, one of those TikTok lives or, shorts and all that gay stuff. And sure, I don't know why everything has to be short and, like 2 minutes or 3 minutes. At least YouTube's got 3 minutes. You can at least say something. It used to be it's just 15 seconds. Like, people are so dumb these days, man. What can you talk about in 15 seconds? I mean, maybe you can show your tits off, but, But anyway, the kind of people I don't talk to. I did a video on this yesterday, sir, can I bum a cigarette? I'm like, and it's not just bumming a cigarette, because the first thing you teach a man to fish, he eats his entire life. You give him a fish, he'll just eat that day. And I'm not saying, and that was not me that said that. It was, I think it was Mark Twain. I'm not saying people don't need help. People can, you shouldn't, that's normal, sometimes that's fine, I'll give guys, when they ask for one, I'll be like, here, take two, Sometimes you genuinely run out, but when a guy who never has it and is always asking, and it's not like it's the most expensive thing on the planet, he just doesn't want to buy it himself. He just wants to keep bumming it off of others, and because he doesn't really. I mean, that sort of mentality is something I hate. And this guy, finds all kinds of excuses to come up to me and talk to me. I ignore this guy to the point where he says, good morning or something, and I just look away, and he still persists. I mean, shameless, and not shameless in a good way. There's shameless in a good way, and then, and I spoke about this yesterday. I mean, I get it. When you're a doer, when you've got things other people want, and you work to get those things, and I'm not talking just money, I'm talking body. The main thing all these guys constantly keep asking me is, you have, in their own languages or in English, that every girl turns around and looks at you. And you just keep walking on and you don't even talk to them, And then, how can I get this, get that? I mean, they know what they have to do. They're fat and out of shape. I mean, and it's always about getting something, and then you tell them what to do, but they don't want to do it. It's, they just want to sit and complain, be losers. I mean, find somebody else to do that. That's why they don't get the girls. So, all that kind of thing. Like, you look like a movie star, TV personality. Yeah, it's all very good. It's all very nice. But, if it's a genuine compliment, you can sense it. But if it's somebody that's being a sneaky motherfucker and trying to get into your circle, or trying to get into your good books because he wants something from you, you can sense that too. It's very easy. And that kind of person, I did a video on that yesterday. Then you have people, I mean, let me, since we're doing a long format video, if you're trying to get into good books with somebody you admire, somebody you think has things that you don't, in whatever regard, girls, physique, fitness, body, money, whatever, you have to make yourself useful to him first. You can't just walk up to him and say, teach me how to do this. Well, why the fuck will he teach you? I mean, what? What is in it for him? I analyzed this yesterday because I do a lot of charity. I just give some stuff away sometimes. But every time I do it, those people actually deserve it, And I never analyzed it before, but I did. And so they actually deserve it. I mean, that's how the universe functions, man. Nothing's free in life. I mean, and most people know what they have to do, they just don't do it. So there's that. I did that yesterday. Then the second kind of person is people that'll constantly find excuses to criticize you or belittle you, moan about you, whatever. In some cases, they may have, in the vast majority of cases, uh, if you're not living according to their choices and preferences, they're going to find, and if you have different views on anything, like if you say Hannibal Lecter was a good guy, oh, he has no regard or empathy for the human condition. Like, what the fuck is the human condition anyway? I mean, could you define human condition? Uh, what are we all just fucking nameless, faceless entities, or you know? We'll talk about that later. But yesterday I did this long post on Hannibal. The movies and the character. It was a very intelligently well done movie. And of course, some idiot, it wrote back and it wasn't actually directly attacking me, but basically, you're promoting violence. And people are so stupid, man. I mean, Hannibal was doing anything but promoting violence. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. And by the way, there's plenty of Hannibals. I mean, there's generals, war generals named, that War of Carthage or whatever, Greek generals or, I don't know, named Hannibal. So, yeah, the other kind of person, so in the vast majority of cases, they'll criticize you because you're not thinking or living the way they want you to live. And then when you try and talk to them about it, they won't be logical. It has to be their way or the highway. They won't debate it logically. Oh, his logic is, it's pointless talking to him. It's not, it's only pointless because they want to win and they can't because they're wrong and they know it. That's simple. But here's the bottom line to this. When I was fat, people used to, there was some people, one person said, oh, you need to reduce your weight, you're going to, have a heart attack, this or that. And I was like 30 years old. Then I was told that by my dad I'd die by the age of 30 or some bullshit. Oh, smoking, you must give smoking up, all this garbage. I've been told I'll die. It's funny, the vast majority of my life, the people that were supposedly the closest to me, all said I should die. Like, from childhood, it was like, let's just find a way to either mentally or physically kill her. Not physically, but mentally. It's weird. And, so at that time when, those comments were made, another set of people used to call me thick, and I was thick because I wasn't really fat. I mean, I was fat, but not like these fucking idiots, like fucking fat men. Yeah, let's look at fat men. Ugh, like this, man, tits like this. And, he tilts his chin up like this so his triple chin doesn't show. And, guy's so gay, man. He's a complete faggot. He says, oh, I walked so much in Vegas today, so I did 10 push-ups. Dude, you're fucking gay. You, walking. You wouldn't know what the W of walking is. I mean, I could outwalk you. Like, literally, I was walking with this other dude, and he's not in bad shape, huh? He doesn't really train, but he's not in bad shape. He's still, he's not fat, he's kind of lean, and not really lean like me, but he's not fat. And he was amazed at my 7-day water fast, and we were walking in the park and round and round and round, and, he was like, how the fuck do you have so much energy? And he's like, you must be eating something, some fruit, something. And I'm like, no, nothing. 7 days, water fast, total water fast, cold water, black coffee, 2 packs of Marlboros a day. And I told him that, and, he was amazed. And I'm like, well, And he's like, well, I can't do that. I can't even sleep at night without eating. And I'm like, you're mentally dependent on food, my friend. I'm not saying you have to be that extreme, but I'm just saying, And then I said, I mean, because he was getting out of breath. It's very hard to keep up with me while I walk. Even my buddy from the Marine, then those motherfuckers can walk. They can carry heavy shit and walk. Even he tells me it's hard to keep up with me. I remember Mark, the African silverback gorilla. Slow down, I'm not your bitch. That guy. Fuck. Ah. Golly. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's very hard to keep up with me when I walk, and and because I'm always like, full tilt, and so we were walking round and round the park, and I simply asked him a question: "Who's the one getting out of breath, buddy? Is it me or you?" He laughed. It's like it's me, because I was just. I still remember, man, carrying beer up 14 flights of stairs, and Mark was like, you didn't even get out of breath. I couldn't even hear you breathing, and he was, the next day he had difficulty going downstairs. It'll do that to you, and but yeah, these people, you know. So I was fat, I used to be fat, I would say that, and which is why I have those pictures on the covers of my books. Then I fix all these problems. I do so without going to these gay faggots that they call doctors, that they're fat and out of shape, but people still go to them and buy all their stupid medicines and live on medicines and false hopes and I'm going to die, that kind of bullshit. And these same people that criticized you will never notice, or they'll notice it and they'll get jealous, but they'll never look. If you criticize someone for something, valid or invalid, then the inverse of that, and the logical thing to do after that is you praise that person, and not because he needs it or wants it, but logic. You praise that person for doing the thing that you said, valid or invalid, was bad. But people won't do that. People are just so goddamn negative, man. And so that's another kind of people, that I don't talk to. Because they'll cherry pick. Like one little thing you say, oh, he must be a terrible person if he likes Hannibal Lecter. What the fuck? And we'll talk about that. Hannibal Lecter was actually a person I'd like to sit down and have a beer with. Okay, not a beer, maybe a nice Chianti. Not a beer, all right, okay, or maybe a coffee or something. I don't know. He's got rather unique preferences. Jesus. But it really, if you look at and people say, he's fictional. He's not fictional, first of all, because he did exist if you read the books. Hannibal exists inside of all of us, man. You notice the brutality, but the fact of the matter is, going easy on gays and pedophiles, and not gays so much as in gays that, rape and pedos and those kind of people, it leads to downfall of society. China and Russia put a bullet in their heads, and then they build the family for the cost of the bullet. Or China does, at least, or they used to. In America and, so-called democracies, you have these stupid systems where people sit on death row for years. In some cases, they get pardoned, depending on how gay the governor is, or, what's the point? That sort of person is a burden on society that doesn't deserve to live. Bring back the fucking public hangings. Let them hang from a tree. And Hannibal simply went after those people. It's not even just. Yeah, the way he did it, but then life is brutal, right? Can you tell me, sit there and tell me life is not brutal? It is brutal. I mean, um, he, that guy was a problem solver. He saw a problem, he moved quickly, he solved it. You may not agree with how he solved it, but it works. I mean, and then it's the only way that works. There's no other deterrence for these people like people that run 16-year-old girls over with cars because they reject them. And it's so stupid. I've spoken about this before. What are you going to accomplish by doing that? It's not like any other girl is going to want you just for that. Their logic is, oh no, this girl, how dare she reject me? I'm going to throw acid on her face. Dude, you're gay, ugly, gay, fat, and a loser. The girl rejects you because you're a fucking grade A loser. If you're not a grade A loser, no girl will reject you. Why? Uh, this, I have been with over 500 and it's so goddamn boring. I say women are goddamn boring and they still flock. They still come. Uh, you gotta be that guy. You can't just throw acid on girls and you can't just run around, running cars. I'm going to run my car over the girl because she rejected me. No, dude, you're a fucking pansy. That. And so Hannibal went after that sort. And there's nothing wrong with going after that sort. What? Why Why does that sort deserve to be? Y'all talk about the brutality and this and that. Now, if you want brutality, pure brutality, you go to the guy, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, that guy wasn't so much a social service worker as he. You don't bother him, you won't even know he exists. You bother him, and that chainsaw just comes and he chops you in half, and then he hangs you like that, and. He's got half a body hanging. He's got entrails all over the table, and it's kind of interesting looking at the contents of one of. Anyway, but that guy was not particular about. He ate when he got hungry, and you can't really blame him. Hey, a man's got to eat, or he killed you if you bothered him. But he had no, is he a criminal? Is he a good guy, bad guy? Hannibal, different. You see in the movies, they repeatedly ask, like Potsy in Hannibal was, Hannibal mentioned, that his ancestor was publicly disemboweled for a crime. But then Potsy was like, yeah. Hannibal asked him, but did he do it? And Potsy was forced to admit he did it. And then Hannibal was like, well, then he was guilty and he deserved it. And that's all that matters, It's hilarious. The first Hannibal, Hannibal Rising, he was taken into the police station because he beheaded a guy that insulted his aunt. And do you have any guilty knowledge of this man being decapitated? And Hannibal was like, guilty knowledge? And the other, the cop was like, yes or no? He's like, no, because in his mind, he's not, he didn't even have to beat any lie detector. He wasn't lying. Because the guy was guilty. It's very simple. That's the sort of person, life is simple if you keep it that way. So those are the kind of people I avoid, Then you have the excuse makers. Then you have the cheapskates, It's always too expensive, Excuse makers are, even worse because I know I need to do this, I know I need to do that, but they'll never actually do it. right? They just keep talking about it. And it's very irritating as somebody that does so many things, that has so much on his plate, and to have all these idiots come up to me repeatedly and, it's highly annoying. So that, I guess, disqualifies the vast majority of people out there. Uh, then you have, of course, copy artists that claim, like we'll talk about Fat Ben. His wife has got him on a leash in Vegas right now, so he's not really, anything. Oh, Cachino. That's what he's doing. This motherfucker is so gay, man. I mean, a trip to Vegas is supposed to be something spectacular. Dude, you're gay. I mean, fucking boring. Hey, like, this guy, this is what I'm saying, born into the, number one country in the world, white guy, so-called privilege. And yet he's such a loser. He's fat, gay, cock, sterile, and a loser that's never been out of Kansas. And when his wife, or whoever the hell that woman is who owns him and pays for him, lets him, out of Kansas, they go to Vegas or California. Guy is a fucking faggot. Like, he's never been out of the country. He's probably never even been to fucking Canada, I mean, god damn. And so, right now it's like a kid in a candy shop. Mommy, I'm looking at the casino, the slot machine. I put some money in. Because I guarantee you, Fat Ben doesn't know how to play roulette. He doesn't know how to play baccarat. That's how the French pronounce it. He doesn't know any of that shit. He wouldn't know how to hold an ace the right way if I fucking showed him. He's gay. I can just imagine Fat Ben sitting at a table, full of poker players, and they're all smoking cigars and drinking, and Fat Ben's like, oh, I'm a fitness guy. I don't smoke. I don't. Okay, well, why are you fat? I'm not fat. I'm a big guy. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Let's roll the dice. How much money are you willing to put down? I just have a dime. So, and he's too cheap to even actually play the actual games. So he's probably stroking his little pecker, sitting in the slot machines, and okay. My point is this: once he's done with all that crap, that's the sort. He's going to be back on the X profile and making comments. When somebody posts long, yeah, you faggot, we all know who somebody is. Grow the fuck up, grow a pair of balls. Balls. I mean, and then he'll claim, no, I didn't get, and then, he'll be back to stealing ideas, and, so that's another kind of guy, I avoid, and there's many like him, Bozo Schofield's another one, grade A Looney Tune, let's see, what else? Since this is a rather lengthy rant, but I haven't gotten all this off my chest for a while. Oh, by the way, we'll end with a bit of a joke. Why does a dog lick its balls, Raul? I still remember we were drinking, and I kept asking Michael the question why, and he was like, and he finally, some questions he just couldn't answer. The Chinese have this thing of, no why, 没有为什么, and I'm like, 为什么没有为什么, why, no why, there's always a why, there's always a reason for everything, and everything, and So he was like, "Why does a dog lick its balls?" That stumped me. I didn't know, and I'll have to, man. But so yeah, I think we covered three broad kind of people to avoid. I guess. I mean, I guess the point of all this for you guys listening isn't just. I mean, yeah, you can laugh. It's very entertaining and all that, but. The point is, the kind of people you hang around with on a day-to-day basis, you don't even know it, but the kind of people, you'll never recognize these. The people, let's just say, not even hang around with, that you come into contact with the most in any which form. It could be email, it could be physically, although physically, in person is even worse, are the kind of people that will influence your life's results, your decisions, choices. Believe it or not, for most people, not all people, but most people, because subconsciously people are very weak. I don't care how many beads, chains, mantras, amulets. I don't give a fuck if you recite, mantras 208 times. I don't give a fuck how many holy books you read. I don't give a fuck what religion you are. Most people are very mentally weak subconsciously. They cannot, consciously they may think, oh no, this guy, he's doing something, but subconsciously, peer pressure, it happens. And you mold yourself to the people. There is a reason behind the saying, you are the sum of the five people you hang out with the most. And I did this video yesterday, but we'll talk about it again here since it's a nice lengthy rant. But this is actually an important point. So you should, if you avoid all those kind of people, you're basically avoiding 99.9% of modern day fucking society as it is. All right, and that's a very good thing. Women included. Talking to women is pointless, right? It's a complete fucking waste of time. It's utterly illogical. You make these stupid jokes. They don't understand it. Sometimes they do. Okay, and then sometimes sometimes you gotta explain those jokes, and I'm like, how can somebody be so stupid? But that's how women are, and women, they're useless when it comes to solving any problems. Women are, they just want to hear everything's okay. Oh yeah, it's all okay, everything's paid, And the Hannibal movie series is a great example of what I keep talking about, that women are going to try and cut you on autopilot once they think they've got you. Don't marry as a man. It's a death knell. You're killing yourself mentally, that is, and then the physical follows. Because she is going to try, and you saw this in the movie, to remove that which made you successful and that which attracted you to her in the first place. It's that simple. This guy, she is supposed to be pursuing him, putting him in jail or, Looney Tune bin, whatever the hell it is. Yet she thinks about him for, every day. That's how you control minds. That's how, that's what I told people to do the other day in my, these losers that think, they can run over girls with a car. I got my revenge. Dude, you didn't get your revenge. You ruined your own fucking life, That's not how to get revenge. Not that I've ever been rejected by a girl. I'll be very brutally honest. I mean, you can believe me or you can not believe me, but I'm a hobby porn star for a reason. But my point is this. What you should do is, if a girl rejects you, make her fucking regret it. And the way to do that is to succeed and completely change yourself so that a few short years later, she will look at you and she will not be able to recognize the person you've become. And then she's going to want you back. I mean, it's that simple. whatever it is, work on your weak points. If you're fat, ugly, and out of shape, then you can't really fix the ugly, but nobody cares about that. Fix your fat and out of shape. If you don't have money, fix that. If you don't have, I can tell you one damn thing. I don't talk to the vast majority of people I meet. I've already said that. Women included, yet 1 minute of conversation with a woman and she remembers me until the next 3 years. Quite literally, the other day at night, I met this girl. Remember the girl who one day, it was raining cats and dogs and I offered her an umbrella and, yeah, it was kind of romantic and all that, I guess. I don't know. And these days, I don't even offer women umbrellas. I'm like, fuck off, you can get wet. If you're gonna hold it, I'll offer it for you. But in that case, she was so nice. I held it for her, and she still remembers me. She comes up with and I didn't even see her because it's kind of dark, and she's not black, so it's not. But Sir Ji, aapko I mean, in her language, she was basically saying, "Do you remember me?" And yeah, okay, yeah, I remember you. What are you doing here so late, honey? And we talked, and then I went, and I don't even have a number. I don't want it, and but they remember me. It, she wants it, but I'm not giving it to her. It's that simple. And that, my friends, is the best revenge. I control minds, literally. And it's easy. And, if I don't like somebody, I never say hate, but if I dislike somebody, I completely ruin them mentally. The universe does the rest, I've spoken about this before, guys have lost their life savings, and I take it all, I just take it all. But anyway, so yeah, you are the sum of the 5 people that you hang out with the most. And so if you avoid all these kind of people, you will find yourself beginning to think a lot more. Because then, you have nothing else to do other than work, train, and think. And that's a very productive life. Now, let's assume you got the work part figured out. Training, if you don't have it figured out, you're a fucking loser anyway. And because everybody knows how to do push-ups and pull-ups and squats. I mean, yeah, my books, you gotta buy them, but even if you don't buy them, if you want to spend 10 years learning my craft like I did, you can do that. It's free. There's the floor. Get down on the floor and do it. But but you'll find yourself thinking, you'll find yourself analyzing, you'll find yourself noticing, you'll be connecting to the universe spiritually, and your results in every area will skyrocket, quite literally. However, then you have, a case where it becomes you can't really function as a lone wolf if you want to be a super achiever. Because you always, you need doers in your circle. Because the more you achieve, the more you'll get banned, the more you'll get this. You need people with contacts, you need powerful people. If you don't have that circle, the best way is to build it in your mind. I do this all the time. I talk to people and they say, who are you talking to? Well, and they call me crazy. And I tell them, yeah, call me crazy. But I'm talking to these people like, if I have a problem, the other day, Amazon, this girl was calling me. And literally, it was like she's calling Jeff Bezos, because I don't know, that was just, the most basic of things they can't, these days people can't understand. And it was literally, I could imagine how Jeff, when he started Amazon, he used to be brutal. He's like, am I talking to the A team or the Z team? That is basically, I didn't say that, but I had to explain it to her like a little schoolgirl. And this is probably a 50-year-old lady, and she submitted. She's like a lamb, silence of the lambs. I'm like, listen to me, like I mansplained, call me a misogynist, whatever, but women love being mansplained to. They crave it, they love it. But Uh, so you'll find yourself thinking a lot more, analyzing a lot more, and and it is very, very worth it. So the if remove that which you don't want from your life and watch what you really want in your life flow to you. Okay. For that to happen, though, you must do it subconsciously. People think, all this Tony Robbins crap that he talks about. You see him up there on the stage. It's gay bullshit, I mean, Napoleon Hill spoke about this in Think and Grow Rich. This thing I'm talking about, if you don't have that network, if you don't have the kind of people you want to, or listen to my videos. A lot of you, you listen to my videos, put it on autoplay, keep repeating it in your mind. The words will keep repeating. You'll learn something new, every time you listen. I do this too, if sometimes, if it's a guy like Trump or somebody, I'll listen to what he said, 2 or 3 times. Because you can always pick up new things from people that are doers, even if it's the same words, if you're thinking, analyzing. But Napoleon Hill, he built himself a cabinet in his own mind, and he would literally consult with them for 1 hour. It had Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, that was way back in the day. And he would consult with them for 1 hour before going to bed. He wouldn't do what you guys do, which is jerking off, which is what little Ben does, but tiny PPJOs. But and he writes, at a certain point, these meetings became so real that he had to discontinue them because, for fear of... and I know the camera angle's all off and all that. I don't give two shits. But, yeah, he had to because, it became so real that they were like real people. To me, that's what it is. I can see, I can predict, I can quite literally see what a person at my own cabinet is wearing. I can literally see what, it's the parallel universe. Let me explain this concept. Most of you are not quantum physicists, neither am I, but the bottom line is this. Everybody wants things. Everybody wants something. And most people are scared to really admit what they want. I am so brutally open about it that it might as well open a door to my own parallel universe where those things happen on a daily basis. I see myself doing it. I feel... so let's say I want a cabinet meeting with, whoever the hell it is. Henry Ford, even though he's not around. It's right there in that universe. I can see Ford in his, the Jews are cancer and blah, blah, blah. And, I can see all that anti-Semitic, but he was right. But, that door to the parallel universe only opens once you remove any and all distractions and idiots from this universe that stop you from getting there subconsciously, okay? There exists a parallel universe. So let's talk Little Ben. He wants to be well known. He's so gay, man. The guy literally begs for follows and you have all these bots that, they have millions of followers and they're bots. If you're verified, drop a hi, and he drops a hi. Say good morning, and he says good morning. He's a fucking faggot. But in that parallel, but he doesn't really ever believe, and he knows, pretty soon he's going to cancel his ex again, and, I just haven't spoken about him in a while because I haven't done these videos. I like to use him as a live example, as a guinea pig. He's a nice fat guinea pig, and he's, in India they have this saying, "Bakra agar khudi chalke kathak karta hua aaya." It means, okay, let me just, not just India, I guess it's Pakistan or I don't know. Anyway, it's basically if a goat comes to your doorstep dancing in drag begging to be eaten, then you fucking eat it. It wants to be eaten. What are you gonna do? It may not be nice, but you fucking eat it, and that's Ben for you. Little Ben, like a guinea pig. Uh, so I just use him as an example. So he wants to be this guy. Oh, I want my voice heard. Dude, you're a fucking nobody. Your opinion doesn't matter. It never will. It only would if you truly believed it would, which you never will. You don't. You won't. Because I'm not going to let you. One thing. But even if I release my mental hold on you, he doesn't, you talk to him about a parallel universe where, those things happen and this and that. It's good, whatever, and most people are so stupid. But in that parallel universe, you can create it in your mind. It could be right there. My mom says, why are you talking to the walls? No, Mom, I'm not talking to the walls. I'm talking to somebody, maybe Hannibal Lecter, you don't know. Uh, and then they'll say, he's completely crazy. Like they said, Isaac Newton, Thomas Edison, the crazy long-haired geniuses. But they were geniuses. My point simply is this: cut out these sort of people from your life, unless you want to be a loser. If you want to be a loser, keep these sort of people in your life. Live the Hannibal lifestyle, be extremely brutal. Think about it. That recent case, and so many of these cases where people run cars over women for rejecting them. 16-year-old girls, by the way, women, whatever. If there was a Hannibal Lecter to publicly disembowel him and have him hanging there, how many people do you think would then do that? Because that motherfucker, once he's coming after you, he gets results, right? There's no gay incarceration or he doesn't bother with all that. China, bullet to the head, finish, finito, Cultivate your inner circle very carefully, and for most people, that begins in the mind, and your results will follow. So let's see. I think I was thinking about doing this, but yesterday, but Anyway, rant over, and I guess I'm off to bank some housemates. I don't know. We'll see what we'll do. I like to grab their ass too sometimes, and they're like, "Oh, what is this?" I'm like, "Oh, it's an ass. It's your beautiful derriere." All right, guys. I'll see y'all later.